Hello guys, welcome to tonight's sociocultural screencast. Focus is going to be on commercialism and the media. First things first, what do we know about the term commercialism? Well, commercialism basically refers to this idea of an emphasis on the maximising of profit. Now, because we're studying sport, that's what we're going to look at as the vehicle by which, sport as the vehicle to making profit. So, things we have to do then. I mean, most people would know now. You look at, you read the paper, and the sums, the money that is linked to professional sport is astronomical. It's unbelievable. You're talking about people getting £500,000 per week to take part in sport. So what we have to do then, sport now, it is a cash cow. It is looking at every possible angle to make money. So what we need to do is what were the factors that contributed towards sport becoming commercial? Okay, so these are the 5 factors we're going to have a look at here. So sponsorship, advertising, professionalism, more media interest, and then I suppose more public interest and spectatorship. These are the things we'll have a look at in tonight's screencast, and then the lesson will have a look at the positive and negative impacts of profit-based sport on society, individual sports, performers and spectators. So that'll be in the lesson that you have next. So let's go back to this definition then. What are these factors that led to the commercialism of sport? Okay, always remembering our key definition of commercialism: profit, profit, profit. Profit is the focus. So from here, let's have a look. What then, if I start off to here, sport is now a business. And the reason it's a business is because it's linked to 2 other key components linked to profit in sport. So if we have a look onto here, this is called the golden triangle and basically refers to the inextricable link between sport, sponsorship and the media. Okay, so sport on its own, okay, was not commercial before the media started to take a massive interest. And because the media started to take a massive interest, sponsors started to take a massive interest. Alongside that, we had stuff called, I should probably get to this point. Media did not have any real interest in sport when it wasn't professional. Okay, so the key thing I think is always worth putting on top of this, it wouldn't get you an extra mark, but it helps, I think, is to consider when we look at, the golden triangle, it's always worth thinking that professional sport is what attracted media and sponsors. That's the first thing. And because media has attracted sponsors, alongside this, the media also links to advertising, because the media, when they are showing these sports, people want to advertise at this period. Sponsors want to sponsor the sport. And you have this relationship whereby each part of this golden triangle is linked to the other in order to make profit. So let's have a look then. Let's have a look at these factors that led to sport being what we now know as a cash cow, I suppose. Don't put that in the exam. So from here, first factor, more media interest. So why is there more media interest? Well, the key reason why there's more media interest is because the media are aware that they can make profit, okay, through sport. And particularly, for example, you look at something like Sky Sports are charging ridiculous amounts of money, okay, for people to have subscriptions to watch it. Okay, so this is one of the first reasons that sport has become commercial, because the media are massively interested now, because they can make profit through subscriptions such as Sky Sports. They can also make money through sponsors who are desperate to be involved in this kind of coverage of different sports. And of course, on top of that, you have advertising. So media interest, that's why. On top of this, advertising. An increase in advertising revenue has led to kind of sport becoming commercial as well. Okay, and I think you can't really have a better example of this than the Super Bowl just gone, not too long ago now. And you look at it, 2020 Super Bowl, for a 30-second advert, okay, this led to a $5.6 million to get 30 seconds of your company on there, or to get an advert. So suddenly, you're looking at this point now saying the advertising revenue for the media is huge. So therefore, this is another factor that has led to sport making a profit. Okay. Now, going down from there, we've got public interest and spectatorship. So sport, a professional sport particularly, has captured the imagination of the public. Okay, you now have people from all demographics going to watch sport. So because there's an increased public interest, participation in sports and spectatorship, okay, this has meant that sport is now something that can be bought and sold. It's known as a commodity. Okay, so this is something you will be aware of. You'll read in the media. Sport now can be sold to the highest bidder. Okay, are Sky Sports getting football coverage? No. not now. With regard to the Champions League, BT Sport paid more money, therefore they now have control of Champions League football in sport because it can be bought and sold depending on the highest bidder, and this is due to public interest and spectatorship being so high. Okay, on top of that, you have professional sport, which I talked about here. So the factors affecting, the development of commercialised sport is the fact that it's gone professional. Okay, so what it is now, because pretty much all sports are now professional, even traditional amateur sports such as rugby are now professional. And because sports performers are professionals, that means they are at a higher level. They train full time. They are a higher level of performance, and because of that and the media coverage of professional sport, it makes them extremely popular as sponsors. So an example of that could be, and the final factor is sponsorship. For example, companies such as Under Armour wanting to sponsor someone like Anthony Joshua because he was a professional boxer. He's extremely popular. Therefore, they want to be associated with them. So because Under Armour are paying Anthony Joshua a lot of money to wear their products, this means that sport, again, is in this idea of creating a profit. So every single thing on here shows how sport has become commercial constantly with this idea of maximizing profit. So these are the factors that have caused sport to become a business or to be this kind of commercial entity where they're attempting to maximize profit. Now, in tomorrow's lesson, or in your next lesson, we'll be having a look at how the positive and negative impacts of the commercialization of physical activity on these 4 areas. Okay, now an example of how 2 of these would look, for example, individual sports and spectators. In a recent exam question, this is what they did. So they showed a graph of satellite costs, contracts for Premier League football. So it shows down to here, and it's got an example of Premier League, and it basically goes down here, how many games they've got. It's got 2016-17, it hasn't got the most recent ones, and it goes on to here. This is how much it cost Sky Sports and BT Sports, 1.712 million pounds in this case to cover Premier League football. And what the exam question is asking, if the broadcaster is paying that much to the Premier League to cover the football, what impact has that had? It says analyse the impact of this has on football. Okay, so what are the positives for the individual sport of football? What are the negatives for the individual sport of football? What are the positives for spectators with regard to them paying all this money? And secondly, what is the negative aspect to spectators? And that'll be the kind of things we're looking at in the lesson to have a look at the impacts on these 4 different categories of people. Okay, thanks very much.